So yes, this phone doesn't come with a 6500 mAh battery in India like it does in China, and it has a 5800 mAh unit. And as a reviewer who has sent the Chinese variant of the phone, our battery life analysis is now pointless. Now why am I talking about this first? Because there are many such inconsistencies with the Realme GT 7 Pro. And in my usage experience and testing experience, the GT 7 Pro constantly felt like a phone that's just a wrapper around a Snapdragon 8 Elite and not a proper well-rounded phone experience. Now, obviously, the question in your mind would be, considering this is going to be one of the most affordable Snapdragon 8 Elite phones, is there nothing reassuring about it? Well, stay with me, I'll tell you. Hi, I'm Arshad. You're watching Trakin Tech English, your destination for detailed, incisive gadget reviews. Now, I've already spoken at length about the performance of the GT 7 Pro. We've made a performance-related video. If you haven't watched that yet, definitely go check it out. But the GT 7 Pro, when it comes to benchmarks, is the best performing phone. We got the best Antutu score and the best Geekbench score that we've gotten till now on any phone that we've tested here at Trakin Tech. Remember how I had said that I had to get the phone down to 6 degrees Celsius to actually get the score of 2.83 million? Well, Realme issued an update, and even at 30 degrees Celsius ambient room temperature, it could reach 2.82 million, which means that they've improved the thermal efficiency. Now, both the variants, the 12/256GB and the 16/512GB, come with LPDDR5X RAM type and UFS 4.0 storage. So UFS 4.0 is fast enough, so you get very good read-write speeds. That's not really a problem. The other good thing that we noticed with the GT 7 Pro is the fact that the CPU doesn't throttle as much, and we got a CPU stability score of 75%. Now, keep in mind, Realme is doing really well in benchmarks over and over again, because even the Adreno GPU had an average stability of about 71.1% in the Remark Wireless test and a solid 40.77 FPS in Solar Bay test. Now in Genshin Impact, the game ran flawlessly. We got close to 60 FPS, 59.9 FPS average frame rates on this, and even the power draw was very, very good. I mean, very low basically. And Realme's got something called the Frame Plus tech, which basically does frame interpolation. So you can actually play games, certain games like BGMI and Genshin Impact at 120 FPS, which is not real 120 FPS, but still it works and it looks very, very good. In fact, a lot of reviewers have been showing this phone off for PC gaming, and you know what? Somebody even managed to emulate Cyberpunk 2077 on it, which is really, really good. Now in Genshin Impact, the temperatures reached about 42 degrees, which is actually not too bad. 45 degrees would have been bad, but 42 degrees is okay. Alright, now it's time to talk about the battery. Yeah, the 6500 mAh unit, not the 5800 mAh unit that's there inside the Indian variant of the phone. Because that's what I can talk about, because that's what Realme sent us. So what you can expect is about 6 to 7 hours of screen on time if you're going to be playing games, watching content, using social media, all of that. So in mixed usage, we expect it better from a 6500 mAh battery. But if you're not going to be using the phone extensively, if you're not going to be pushing it for performance, then you can expect about 8.5 hours of battery life. The battery charging speed is fantastic because you get a 120 watt charger inside the box, and it is one of the fastest charging phones right now in the market. So what you get is a 1 to 100% charge in about 37 minutes, which is fantastic. And Realme is also claiming 80% battery capacity even after 4 years of usage, which is good, which is reassuring. And on the flip side, the Type-C port at the bottom is a Type-C 2.0 port on a gaming phone. Seriously, we should abolish Type-C 2.0 ports in 2025 on flagship phones. That has to happen. Now, one of the things about the battery I forgot to mention is that, of course, this is a silicon carbon battery, so which means that it's slim, but the GT 7 Pro, considering it has a larger battery, it's not extremely slim. It's about 8.55 millimeters thick, and it's also about 223 grams, which is comfortable enough, but it's the weightier of the phones that we've tested in 2025. By the way, one charging feature that the GT 7 Pro doesn't have is wireless charging, so keep that in mind. Now, one thing I like about the GT 7 Pro is definitely the display. It's a massive 6.78-inch display co-developed with Samsung, and it's an OLED panel, of course. And like most Android flagships this year, it's a micro quad curve panel, so you've got curves at the corners of the display. And technically this display is very sound. It's an 80 LTPO panel, and it's got 120Hz refresh rate, and you've got 120% DCI-P3 color gamut support as well. Plus you've got Dolby Vision support with support for HDR video playback on YouTube, Netflix, all of that, and it worked exceptionally well. One of the things that Realme always also gets right is the fact that you get a PWM dimming score of 2600 Hz, which means that if you're somebody whose eyes are sensitive to low light flicker, then you wouldn't have a problem with the Realme GT 7 Pro, which is definitely better than flagships like like the iPhone 16 Pro Max. In regular usage, when you take it outdoors, this phone can also reach 2000 nits of peak brightness, so it's plenty bright. Plus, in a very limited 1% window, the display can also reach a peak brightness of 6500 nits. Now, obviously, most people won't even notice that, but the point is that the Dolby Vision tuning and the HDR tuning on YouTube and Netflix has been done exceptionally well, and we actually enjoyed using the phone for watching content. I really like the display on this phone. It's actually very good. And unlike the Oppo Find X8 Pro, which only has an optical in-display fingerprint scanner, Realme actually gives you an ultrasonic one, and it's very, very good. So even if you have wet fingers, it'll work. Wet fingers. Now, one thing we expected Realme to be fantastic at is, haptic feedback, because you get haptics, but it's not at the level of something like the OnePlus 12, the Oppo Find X8 Pro, and even the OnePlus 13, we've tested it already. So it was a bit of a letdown, but still not too bad. Now, if you're wondering what kind of glass protection that you get actually Corning's Gorilla Glass 7i, which is the same thing that's there on the Find X8 Pro, which is good enough, but definitely not the best in this price class. Now, to round out the multimedia experience, you do get proper stereo speaker setup, so you do get left-right channel separation, which is nice, but the sound quality could have been slightly better in my opinion. You know what, take a listen to it right next to the Find X8 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max and let me know what you guys think. Now, we also tested the Bluetooth high-res codecs, so LHDC, LDAC, all of that is present. You also do get support for Bluetooth version 5.4. You've also got support for NFC and Wi-Fi 7 as well. Now, with respect to network performance, you get umpteen 5G band support, that's not a problem, and we tested Geo 5G on it. But I feel like it could have been better with respect to 5G performance, because the speeds that we were getting on this phone was kind of lower than what we were getting on the other phones that we've tested till now, the Android flagships. Now, I didn't talk much about the design of the phone because, of course, you've taken a look at it. It looks nice actually. I like this Mars red color, and you've got an aluminum frame which is military grade apparently, so it should be able to withstand a few falls. That apart, you also do get support for IP68 and IP69, so it will be able to take jet sprays of water too. Interestingly, the IR blaster is not at the top of the frame. It's inside this camera module, which is kind of unique. So now it's time to talk about the cameras. The cameras on a flagship have to be good. Anyway, these are the camera specs. You can see on your screen right now. You can pause it and take a look at it for yourself. And yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. It has an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera on a flagship phone. Anyway, the primary camera takes a good amount of details in daylight, and there is no over sharpening as such, which is nice. Colors are actually slightly punchy and warm, but I kind of like it. It's well done for social media and it's not oversaturated, which is a good thing. Now, with the skin tones of the people pictures that we captured, we noticed wide inconsistency. Sometimes it would actually capture really close to accurate skin tones, and at other times it would make it like red. But there's one thing that's true, is that Realme always goes for the brighter exposure, making the face look brighter than normal. Regardless, some of the pictures look good, some don't. Now, with the portrait mode, I'm not really happy with the shots. With the primary camera and the telephoto, it doesn't look very good. The edge detection is kind of off, and the bokeh blur in the background looks extremely fake. And one look at it and you'll know that it's shot from a smartphone. It doesn't try to achieve that DSLR look. HDR tuning is completely off as well. It's overprocessed and it has that typical overdone HDR look. Also, sometimes the highlights are blown out. It's definitely not flagship grade multi-stack processing for HDR. And the other problem is that if you introduce a human subject in the frame and take an HDR shot, oh my god, it's horrendous. Lots of bloom, lots of lens flare. Another area where the primary camera's IMX906 sensor falls apart is in low light performance. I was pretty disappointed actually, because in the effort to reduce the noise correction algorithm goes overboard and the details are extremely soft. The ultra-wide angle 8MP camera is obviously very average. It's over-sharpened in daylight. The HDR shots have the same problem as the primary, but with added lens artifacts and bloom. Low light is okay, but there are technical issues here as well. Now, the 3x telephoto camera is fine for shots of landscape in daylight. Now, there is a decent amount of details, so which is nice. And the phone also offers 60x and 120x digital zoom, and at 60x, the AI kicks in. In selfies, the camera captures reddish skin tones, and there's artificial sharpening that you can see on Arnav's face. At night, the images tend to be softer without much detail as well. Now, the videos from the primary camera at 4K 60 FPS look decent in daylight with good stabilization. However, at night the quality falls apart. Now, you take a look at it and let me know what you guys think. The 3x telephoto camera is fine. You can shoot 4K 60 FPS videos with it, but only in direct sunlight it's good. Otherwise, it's not. The selfie camera can do only 1080p 60 FPS video, which is definitely a bummer because it's a flagship phone. It should do 4K, but the video quality at 1080p is fine though. What's problematic is definitely the ultimate angle camera, which is 1080p 30 FPS video recording. You also get this underwater photography mode, which you can try out. We took a few sample shots with it. It's kind of fun to use, but after a while the novelty wears off. There's also a street mode with auto zoom, where once you tap on the subject, it automatically zooms on it, which is nice. Overall, it's a mid-camera setup with a mid-camera experience with mid-camera tuning. Alright, now software time. It's running Realme UI 6 based on Android 15, which is great. It's got the latest version of Android, but Realme is only promising 3 + 4 years of software updates, and that's genuinely disappointing. Firstly, because it's a flagship phone. It should have minimum 4 to 5 years of software updates. And secondly, because Qualcomm themselves are going to support the Snapdragon 8 Elite for 8 long years. If Qualcomm's going to do it, Realme, what's stopping you? It's not like Realme is going to make another 8 Elite phone. Give longer support. Although, while talking about the software experience itself, I like the fact that it has very little bloatware, and most of which is there on the phone can actually be, uninstalled or disabled, which is nice. And Realme OS 6, of course, is very similar to Oxygen OS or Color OS, which is a good thing because Realme has taken all the best features like fluid animations, flux themes, live activities, and even O+ Connect, which allows you to transfer files between iOS and Android. There are also a bunch of AI features that we kind of enjoyed using. For example, with AI snapshots, you can take pictures of fast-moving objects, and there's AI Studio, which is similar to Pixel Studio and works on a credit basis. This is something similar we saw on the Oppo Find X8 Pro as well, by the way. Then we have an AI editor, which has AI sketch to image that works fine but reduces the quality of the image. And finally, we have AI eraser and AI unblur feature as well. Overall, I like what Realme has done with Color OS 15. Oxygen OS 15. Realme UI 6. So with the Realme GT 7 Pro, I feel that it's definitely a case of squandered potential. It could have been a very, very good phone, a very, very good first Snapdragon 8 Elite phone for India. But unfortunately, in its current state, it's not. It reminds me of games like Cyberpunk 2077 and No Man's Sky, which when they launched, they were a hot mess because, of course, they were not optimized well. But over the course of time, they got developer support, and right now, those two games are considered as one of the best in their genre. So now that's what we expect Realme to do. To give it the support it deserves so that it becomes better, and in that scenario the 3 + 4 years kind of seems a little disappointing. But if Realme manages to do that, then we'll probably do a long-term review of the phone to find out if things have become better. So I hope you're listening to the critical feedback, Realme. It's very important. So right now it's a waiting game, and it's clearly a classic case of almost but not quite. Alright, so what do you guys think of the Realme GT 7 Pro? Would you consider buying one? Unfortunately, I don't know the price of the phone at the time of filming this video, but I'm expecting it to be under 60,000 rupees. There was this leak that mentioned that it'll be 70,000 rupees. Definitely a fake leak. Don't believe that. It should be under 60,000 rupees. So at that price, it's definitely, worth considering. But yeah, would you consider or not? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, keep tracking and stay safe.